Okay, it's another session breakdown for you. And this time is he came to me and asked for a session around abundance and yeah, abundance money and stuff like that. So let's delve into that.
Yeah, so what is the problem, Chris?
So the problem is I just want to be in a mindset like I want to have an abundance mindset. Like I don't want to be in a place where I'm I suppose like catastrophizing the future and concerned with, like how things are like I'm gonna be homeless or everybody's gonna leave me. I'm gonna be homeless and alone and destitute, and it's gonna be terrible. Like I know that's not a very logical thing, but sometimes that's just the way that I feel, and I think that it's probably because of my past, but yeah.
So you feel homeless and alone.
No, not right now. I feel pretty good right now, but I think like that's a fear of mine.
Mhm.
Like it's a fear. Yeah,
Okay.
and yeah. Yeah, it's a fear because the people that were most
So just a quick note. So basically, Chris is very introspective client. So even when I've asked him what the problem was, and while he was actually explaining what the problem was, you could see that he was thinking a little bit, and not all of his answer was very like conscious fluff, as we say. And also he has obviously thought about the problem, and he came to realization it was a fear, and now he's kind of a bit more into thinking, is that actually a fear? And yeah, basically let's switch further.
I think the people that were the most significant in my life, my own mother and father, were not there for me in the way that ideally a mother and father should be. And my mother dealt with substance abuse issues, and my dad was very abusive. He's probably a narcissist. I'm not throwing that word around like, I know it's kind of in vogue. Everybody's a narcissist, but I literally mean like he fits the profile of somebody with MPD, according to like the DSM. So it was difficult growing up with that because I didn't have anybody, and I think that sometimes deep down inside, there's a part of me that just gets that's still afraid of that.
So you're afraid you're afraid you're not gonna have anyone again.
Yeah, and it's like things are going pretty well right now, but I have a very loving wife. I mean, she's amazing. I couldn't ask for a better person to call my partner. Um, it really is a total 180 from anything that I've experienced in the past. I think that it's so. I think when you go through like, I don't know, I met her when I was like 32-ish. So when you go through like 32 years of toxic, unhealthy relationships, and then all of a sudden somebody shows up, kind of, I guess, I don't know, maybe my my subconscious mind is just having a real difficult time reconciling my experience with like the way that things are now versus how they've always been.
Yeah. And what about the healthy and lovely relationship is so difficult to your subconscious?
So see, he didn't really say exactly that, but from everything that he said, this is basically the question that I could have asked him in the least amount of words. And that put him straight into the trance? He's blinking, so it's more tranced out. It's one of the signs of unconscious moments.
I guess it's like, is it really possible to get what I want?
Hmm.
And maybe I have what I want, but I'm afraid, like maybe what if I'm wrong, you know, like.
Hmm.
And I remind myself not to think like that. Like sometimes it's like I'll get scared or something like that. But it's these are like some of these thoughts are things that I keep to myself. Like I've gotten to the point where I used to have like a ton of anxiety, and it would be very self-destructive for my relationships and everything. And I've gotten to a point where I've kind of like I'm able to contend with it internally, but it's still really uncomfortable. And I think it's still in some ways it's like toxic.
Hmm.
I'm sure it affects my I don't like my relationship by all means is like pretty healthy, but I think that it definitely impacts the way that I relate to people. It impacts the way that I work. Um, Like sometimes it leaves me prone to learned helplessness. Like, what's the point in trying if it's just gonna fall apart, or if my business isn't gonna succeed, if why try to get better if it's just not gonna work out, and it's frustrating because I know inside, like I know logically that's total just wackadoodle BS. But I think viscerally, like experientially, it's something that's still like it lingers there.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
that's the anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it is the anxiety. Maybe it's just that generalized like that angst.
So if you're not understanding something in a session and then your client is like going, from one point to another to further, you can always clarify it for yourself. So that's why I said, like, is that the anxiety? And then because he obviously mentioned anxiety as one of them. So yeah, so always clarify if you're not understanding anything, something, or even if you're like struggling to see any unconscious moments, you can always clarify, ask the question about what they are talking about. And this is the beauty of ACH, that, all roads lead to Rome. And, even if you ask the wrong question, the client will always give you the answer from the place where he is. So I've asked about the anxiety, and he's now considering as like maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's that. And if it wasn't, he would just say no, So yeah, all roads lead to Rome.
The generalized fear of that I can't necessarily pinpoint. It's out there. Like
Yeah.
there's always a threat. Yeah. There's always a threat. I don't want to feel like there's always a threat. I just want to feel like here I am. Like anything's possible for the most part, as long as it lies within I mean, I don't know, maybe anything is possible, but you know, the only kind of limitations and constraints I can think of are biological and the laws of physics. But aside from that, like there's definitely things that can stretch and challenge our viewpoints. So
So if everything is possible, how is it a threat?
So the reason I've asked this question is because you can see how when he said a threat, he cleared his throat, and that word threat was somewhat charged with emotion. And you could see the clearing of the throat is one of the unconscious moments as well. And then when he was talking about possibilities, it's like all of his body language, like he sighed, you know, you can see that's like a really, really expressive unconscious moment. So I've put them both together and basically asked whether, you know, if everything is possible, how is this a threat?
I think it's my mind's bent towards noticing the like the for some reason you know Bob Ross, you know the guy with the afro, and he'd do the painting on TV.
No.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, I'm sure somebody watches gonna laugh so much, but Bob Ross is he's like a very famous painter who used to be on TV, and he paint like mountains and trees and stuff, and he might mess up, and he would call it like a I don't know, like a happy mistake or a happy accident, because he would just figure out how to blend the smudge or something into a rock or a lake, and he would just fit it in, and you wouldn't even know that he messed up. And it was just like such a profound kind of philosophical thing from this, you know, 70s like Afro white painter guy. I was just like, that's such a cool way to kind of think about things. And sometimes my mind gets stuck or hung up on how things are not going right. Like, you know, maybe I'm not making the most money. Maybe I could make more money. You know, or it's like I reach I've reached out to several people, and you know, I think one, two, three, or four are waiting to get back to me, and it's like I'm like I need this now, and I don't like that kind of like I tell myself to just be patient, and I don't like that kind of like I do need it, but it just like I guess I'm afraid that I'm not going to get it. There's a really powerful quote. I think I took a picture of it. Um, with Rumi. I'll see if I can find it, but um, yeah, I just don't want to be in that kind of mindset where I'm constantly worried about what's gonna what's gonna happen, and just like know that things are kind of coming to me, like they're gonna work out.
Yeah.
They're gonna, yeah.
And what's stopping you to be in that mindset that things are going to work out?
So again, again, what's stopping you is very much one of the classic ACH questions. And he's obviously now in that knot that, you know, oh, what if is not going to work out?
Can you repeat that question just one more time?
What's stopping you to be in the mindset that things are going to work out?
It seems like an easy question, but obviously that made him think. to the point that he's forgotten the question. So that's another sign of him being in a trance state, and of him having this unconscious moment. There's a rapid blinking again, so unconscious.
I don't know what it's like to really be well off.
Mhm.
I've had some moments in my life where I have not lived paycheck to paycheck, or I've actually had, like 2 or 3 months worth of like living expenses. It's pretty wild. And I've spent so much of my life kind of being behind, or being in poverty. Like I was homeless a couple times too, and it was really difficult. Um, I'll preface that homelessness wasn't thankfully on the streets, but it was just, like couch surfing, or I mean, I did stay in a tent in the forest, which was not a very wonderful experience, but
So here we go. The client is in regression because he's basically back in the moments where he was homeless. And that's how, when the regression just comes up, it naturally comes up in ACH. You don't do any technique to get the client to remember the moments when he, that could be blocking him from like feeling that abundance mindset and stuff like that. This is literally through the conversation, and it's a spontaneous regression. I've asked the question, what is stopping you? And this is what he's coming up with, that his past experiences of homelessness, etc., etc. So you can see how you don't need to force the client to anywhere. The client gives you what he needs to give you during the session, and he goes where he needs to go within his mind during the session while you are doing the hypnotic interview and basically the therapy.
I think because I know what's like possible on that end, it's concerning, or it's like it's something that I'm afraid of.
Hmm. So let me tell you, let me ask you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were on that end,
Yeah.
how did you deal with that then?
So then this is it. This is, you can explore the regression. He gave me the time of his life when he was homeless, and I'm just asking questions about that. So for him to like kind of make more sense, and this is something that I'm curious about. So again, be always curious, and instead of like maybe from here, if you're from a coaching background, you'd be like, inclined to ask the question, how, how would you, so you came out from that homelessness back then, how could you come out from that mindset now, kind of a thing. But that's not the question you should be asking in ACH to facilitate really a proper therapy and a breakthrough. So I'm just exploring what he gave me.
Um, well, when I was in the forest, I was under the care of my dad, and I was like, I didn't really have to worry too much, although it's kind of like it was weird. I was like, why are we here? Like, and he tried to kind of play it off like it's camping, and I knew it, I just knew it wasn't. I was like, this is like, all of your stuff is here. Like all of your belongings are here. This is not camping. And Um, yeah, and I when I was like kind of couch surfing,
So here you could say that he's having two scenes of where he regressed. So obviously the forest camping, not camping with the dad, was like when he was younger, and then couch surfing a bit older. Is like you could say that there's two scenes, but these, if you were to do the regression session, these would not be enough for him to have a breakthrough, because he wouldn't have spoken around everything else that he's been talking about, and having his knots untied, and just bringing the information back from the subconscious.
I think I was just really fortunate because there was always somebody. Like, there's always someone who was willing to help. I remember I made friends with someone who I only met them for like a relatively short period of time, and it was like kind of a blossoming friendship. And this person actually, like, they helped me. They're like, you can stay with me. It was really rough though, because I was in a studio apartment. I was like practically sleeping on the floor, and there's other people there, and I was just so exhausted, but it kind of kept me afloat for a little bit. And then I moved in with a cousin. That helped a little bit, but it was like a 1 bedroom, and I'm sleeping on the couch in the living room. So whenever they get up, like, yeah, it's like, okay, here we are. And it's just like kind of uncomfortable because they don't want to disturb me. I don't want to disturb them. Um, and then, uh, but then I made my way back into having like a home. Um, that's when I did the best. I was like on my own and had a really good paying job. I worked very hard. I got into a very nice routine. I spent a lot of time working on myself, working on my mindset, just being consistent with things, and my life started to transform. Like, I still didn't feel the best. Like, uh, 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 there's still like things that I had to work on, like internally, but it helped that my like the externals were changing. It definitely made things better, and I feel like like it's almost the opposite now. Like, I think for me, my internal is really good. I mean, I have anxiety and everything, but I just have a feeling that if I was in a place of um, like, I would be really at ease if I had, you know, $5,000 in the bank, like, just, like all my bills are covered, like everything's good. It's like you got some play money, be strategic, figure out what kind of things you want to do next, and then things will unfold from there. I think it gave me a lot of ease, like being able to do things that matter to me. Maybe take my wife on a trip or just do something special for her. It's kind of like what we were talking about last time. It's like I want the power to love fully.
Hmm.
I want the like to really be able to give of myself, and there's something empowering about that, and very soothing.
Hmm.
But I don't know. It's like, I don't. Maybe that's like, I'm just thinking. Like, I think of, these are some exceptional individuals, but I think of like somebody like the blood, and just, I know things were a little bit like different with them. Like, they received like donations and things of that nature, and I'm kind of working in a bit of a different game. There's some different rules. We're here in 2024, so it's not necessarily the same thing. I mean, I could do that, but you know, I just don't know how viable that is.
Hmm.
But I also understand that they just kind of like the provision came to them.
Yeah. So if you had those $5,000 in the bank, would you not feel threatened anymore?
Yeah, so basically here I'm just kind of questioning his thinking, because he's like, oh, I just want to have the 5 grand, but we all know that like these internal conflicts, internally feeling like you're threatened, unsafe, they don't go away just because we have 5K in the bank, so that's basically the reasoning behind my questioning, and that put him back into thinking trance mode.
I think it would help, but I don't think that it solves like the root of the problem. Like I think I would feel a lot better. But if you took the 5,000 away, it's still there. Like I'm still kind of like, uh-oh. And if I spend some of that, maybe I spend like 2,000. Uh-oh, we're getting close. Like we're going down. And I see a bit of a trap there, because then I could get into probably the thing that a lot of people who make a decent amount of money get into, which is greed. So they try to escape their insecurity through acquiring more. And I don't think it's inherently bad to get more, but I do think that there's a danger in trying to like you're running from something. I don't want to run from something.
Yeah.
I just want it to come to me. There's this quote that I was reading, and here we go. This is this Rumi quote. I think this is it. It's like what you seek is seeking you. I hope this is like a legit quote, and this isn't just from how people get misattributed. But it's like the fake Buddha quotes, but whatever. It sounds good, so we'll just swing with it. Sorry, Rumi, if this isn't from you. It says something along the lines of this: when I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of distress and anxiety. If I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without any pain. From this, I understand that what I want also wants me, is looking for me and attracting me. There's a great secret in this for anyone who can grasp it. I know that might be from The Secret, but I like it.
So what about this quote? How does it relate to your situation?
So he's back into a trance, unconscious moments, rapid blinking.
Well, it's like I see that what I run after, or when I run after what I think I want, my days are a furnace of distress and anxiety.
Stop reading.
But no, but I think about that. I'm like, yeah, that's actually like that's what I kind of feel like. It's like they send out the invoice to the person and they haven't messaged. And I suppose like there's nothing wrong with like reaching out. I'm not saying that I don't check in on them, see if they have any questions, but just that like angst that I may feel, or kind of the like, okay, hello, what's the deal? Are we gonna start the sessions together? Did you just say yes to hang up on?
Yeah. So what do you feel when they kind of ghost you?
I think it's rude. It feels kind of discouraging because, like, for myself, I do everything that I can to allow them to feel comfortable to say no, and to not feel like I'm gonna like get on their case about, well, try to strong arm them with some like sales tactics or something. I'm like, that's not my MO. That's not who I am. Like, if you don't want to do it, that's okay. Let me know. So I'm not, hello, 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 like sending you 20 messages trying to figure out like like what you're doing or something.
Yeah. So it
But,
discourages you from what?
from trying.
Hmm.
Just like I want to just throw I'm just like forget it. It's a fairly common experience, but I think I've experienced that a lot um with just sales in general. Maybe it's a little bit more. I'm more sensitive to it since it's my business, and since there's it's not like I was working for Equinox and they had ads, and they're doing all this marketing, and people come into the gym, and there's like all these referrals, and it's like I can count on stuff. But with this, it's all on me. Like, it's all on me. There's no one's coming to no one's coming to rescue me.
Hmm.
But I know I'm good at what I do.
Mhm.
I get the feedback. People are just like, what the heck? I'm just like, I tell them I went to like, 2 years of hypnotherapy college, and I'm like, it sounds like I attended Hogwarts or something. And that I'm like, I'm not a wizard, I promise. I'm just a normal person. So uh,
Yeah.
but I think that kind of, I don't know, maybe that impatience, maybe there is something about like what I want actually wants me.
Hmm. Do you believe that?
I don't know.
So the reason I've asked this question is obviously he's quoting some quotes that it has been stuck in his mind. And I just want to see whether he believes them or he's just repeating them and expecting his life to be in this way just because he saw something, right? So kind of like questioning clients' beliefs is also another kind of good way to get around the knots and untie them and see where they're at.
Like, I've been thinking about that. Like, ever since I heard this quote, um, like I saw one, you get like 1 trillion ads for I think it's Mind Valley or something, and Vishal, the CEO, is like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy. But he says some pretty cool stuff, and he was talking about this quote, Rumi quote, that may or may not be what he actually said. It could be from The Secret, but I digress. And he 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 was I was like thinking about this, like what I want wants me. Like uh, what does that even mean?
What does it mean?
I don't know. Um, well, I guess.
And then you can repeat their own questions to themselves when you see them like really thinking, oh, what does it mean? And then you just repeat, what does it mean? And it hits them differently from when they ask this question themselves. When they hear it from you mirrored back, it hits them differently. And basically you get different sorts of answers as well.
And kind of, if I want something, like if I want a fit body, I'm probably going to do things to make that happen. And so the ideal of a fit body comes to me as I'm putting in effort to come to it.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's one way, but I also, you know, hey, I got a little woo woo to me. I like, you know, I like thinking about some. I think that there's things about reality that are very difficult to understand. I definitely don't think we have the full picture on stuff. You know, as much as scientists like to think that they do. I just think that there's more to it than what we know. I mean, it's I think it's the height of hubris to think that we do have like a, oh, we know it, we're on it. It just takes one thing to learn and the whole idea just disappears. Like, whoops, we messed up on that one, guys. So I just like I was reading a book by a guy. This is funny. It's called Synchronicity, and it's by the author's name is Dr. Kirby Surprise. So funny. That's a synchronicity right there. Like the guy who's got the last name Surprise writes the book Synchronicity. So I think that's so funny. I I read that book, and he talks about he's just very like an empiricist, evidence-based and stuff, but there's some things that he talks about how like your mindset can impact like a random number generator to spin or to come up with the numbers that you think of more often, or it can cause you to roll like rolling dice and you get like certain dice more than chance, and how the you could have the belief that butterflies are attracted to you, and so by having that belief, you'll actually see more butterflies because, you know, you're noticing something that other people just probably aren't noticing. It's important to you. But something, I don't know how they did this, but they found out that like not only do you notice the butterflies that are already there, but more butterflies than what would typically be there come into your experience.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to read the book. I have no, I can't remember. There's a reason why I was like, that's crazy. It's like the heck, like how does that even work? And it just makes me think like if I truly believe that the idea of like the things that I want me, um like I want to help people, and the people that want help want to come to me.
Hmm. So
Uh
you do believe that then?
you know, I think I'm starting to believe that more, like as I'm, you know, working, like I do TikTok lives every day now, and I get like common people, like I have people that are just showing up like constantly, the same kind of people, and it feels really good. It's like, you know, do I get paid for helping all of them? No, but like I can see that there's like, oh my gosh, you've helped me so much, thank you, and like it's just kind of building up, and I know that that's going to help, like as I keep putting value out there and helping people, it's going to come back to me. Like I really believe that, you know, whether they refer people or it's like a critical mass of you know, like a positive reputation, where it's like, look, this guy knows what he's talking about. um
Yeah. So what's the problem?
yeah.
Checking in again about the problem.
I'm impatient.
So you're impatient.
So see, now the problem has slightly changed from abundance mindset, threats everywhere. Now I'm impatient, right? So, and this is what happens. You untie more knots, you question some of the beliefs, and if there's like spontaneous regressions happened, the problem becomes malleable, right? It keeps changing for it to be able to break through, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's so weird. It's like, even in that quote, he's like, if I sit in the place of patience, um, if I sit in my own place of patience, what I need flows to me and without any pain. Jeez.
What do you mean about being impatient?
Um, there's just this sense of urgency to get things done now. Like I don't have the luxury of kind of, twiddling my thumbs and acting like things are all hunky dory when they're not necessarily. I need to, like, I have to fix things. Like I have to get into a good place. I have to. Like it is a must. Um,
Must fix things.
yeah, I must fix things. I don't want my family to be like what I grew up with. I don't want that. Like I really want to have a kid. I'd like to have kids, but I don't want my children growing up in poverty. Um, I don't want to, I want to feel secure and stable.
So see again, and also like clients sometimes as we talk, we start realizing things and they start drifting into the trance from their own unconscious moments. So sometimes you just kind of need to shut up and listen and not say much, because you can see, especially if you see that they are still thinking, they are like still working things out. Sometimes the best thing is to just stay silent, really observant, and really truly listen. And then when you hear something, then you can, add at the end, or you can, it depends on the client. Like, because Chris is very introspective, I do give him time to like talk things through out loud, because every time he starts talking, he starts drifting back into trance, coming out, coming in, coming out, and he works things out within his head. And then I ask a question that like kind of brings a bit more understanding to him and a bit closer to a breakthrough.
Secure and stable.
Yeah, I want to feel secure and stable.
Secure and stable.
See how he starts blinking again once I repeat secure and stable.
Feel secure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like I am my secure.
So you saw like while he was blinking, so if you need, rewind back. And while he was blinking and just thinking, looking up, thinking, he just went with his face, like you could see the unconscious moment and some sort of aha moment coming out. And then he just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so listen to this one.
Security and stability.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm the it's yeah, like all of this is just it's a external reflection of of what's going on in here for me at least. Like I'm it's my actions, it's my skills, it's my personality, it's who I am in a sense. And that changes, that changes with time. I think it's changing in a better direction. but I'm the source of my security and stability. Like I can't control any of this stuff. Like everything could disappear, but I always rebuild. I always come back up. Like things don't hold me down. Yeah, I've been in very uncomfortable places, but
So here he is now finding his resources. If he is his own security and stability, he can always rebuild. He can always come out better. He can always rely on himself. And this is like an amazing resource. And now he's remembering the regression that he had. And I've asked him around, how did you deal with it? What happened next? And he has come out of this homelessness. He has found people to help him, and now he's realizing that by himself, because he had, after we've untied all of these knots during the conversation, he suddenly had this realization that, oh my God, I'm my own stability and security. I can always rebuild. Doesn't matter what happens. I've got this, basically. And how amazing of a resource is that to know, truly feel that you've got this, whatever problem comes up, because life is full of problems. Whatever problem comes up, you've got this. This is an amazing resource. I love ACH.
I don't think it would be a problem if I had, like, if I had a windfall of just good fortune, or all of a sudden, like, I was making $30,000 a month, or I suddenly came upon $1 million or more. I think for myself, I would be in a place of like maybe it would present some new challenges, but it's not anything that I can't figure out.
Hmm.
And you see, previously he said around, like, when people start making money, they become greedy. So that was his belief, his limiting belief. Basically, he was limiting himself in terms of internally how much he can earn and how much, he can earn to not become greedy. And now he says that, oh, actually, I don't think that would be a problem for me.
So what would be these new challenges from earning more money?
Um, just like learning how to manage money better, But I don't think I think that I like my stuff, like that kind of stuff came to me I before I met my wife. Like I just kind of learned, I'm a bit of a minimalist. I don't mind wearing the same thing all the time. I need very little. I'm kind of highly conscientious, like in the sense that I like my routines and stuff. I like just I can get very like dialed in, and I don't need a lot to do that. I'm kind of tactical about the things I get. Like, don't get me wrong, like I like high quality stuff, but I don't need a ton of stuff. Maybe my wife does, but that's a discussion for a different time. Um, uh, but yeah, it doesn't take me. I'm content on very little.
Hmm. That's very good. So what's happening to your problem now?
I'm checking in on a problem again.
I
We're close to the result and the breakthrough.
it's like changing, but I don't. It's like changing in a good way. I don't know what is changing it to. So my brain is like, not my brain, my mind. Um, my mind is just going haywire right now.
Mhm.
Not in a bad way. Probably not the best word to use, but it's just
trying all the suits.
Yeah, it's
So Chris is also ACH practitioner, and then basically an ACH mind is, the way I explain it, is your mind when it's in a trance, when your knots are untied, your mind goes into the back room to try all of the different suits. You know, suits of thinking, suits of beliefs, and stuff like that.
maybe it's like a reboot. Or one of those, you know, when you reconfigure your
Yeah.
computer and it makes it go faster. The reconfiguration of the mind. I wonder how much different my life would be if I truly just had the expectation of what I want wants me. What a crazy thing. Like, not, I guess it's not crazy like in a bad thing. It's just, it's so far out there. It's like I just kind of wonder like how that belief, that feedback loop just changes things.
Hmm.
It feels like something that would be a really good belief to adopt.
Mm.
Hmm.
So you can see he's literally just even not just changed beliefs to a different beliefs, but in this session, like, this is so fascinating because after we've untied all the knots, he's actually telling you what belief he's wanting to adopt and what belief he's adopting. Like, if I was doing a traditional hypnosis session, I would have never come up with this, you know, and even if I did, it might not work with another client, you know. This is something that he came up, this is something that he thought was fascinating, this is something that he is thinking, actually, that makes sense, and I think I want to adopt this belief. That's just fascinating. There's like literally nothing that I told him to do in this session.
And how would that work out? How do you imagine yourself with that belief?
I think it would give me a sense of patience. I don't think it doesn't mean that there's, I'm kind of wondering if there's a way to, is urgency necessarily intertwined with the notion of impatience? I don't think so. I think it's just something that requires attention, a more immediate attention. It's like maybe a sense of urgency is something that's like, this is something of a high priority.
Hmm.
It requires my attention right now, but it doesn't necessitate that I can still have a sense of urgency and I can be patient in that urgency.
Yeah. And are you okay with that, having that sense of urgency?
He's gone unconscious again, and it's like all of the sighs, there's a breathing out. It's like these are all unconscious moments. And also now we are kind of starting a little bit of testing of his resources, because, you know, he was talking about the patience, and about urgency, about feeling rushed. And now in his mind, he's managed to actually separate the two and say, actually, just because there is a bit of urgency doesn't mean I'm impatient. And I'm asking, well, are you okay with that? Because that's a testing question, because, you know, he might not like this belief, and he might not, you know, he might come up with this resource, and then later on, if he doesn't think about it enough, later on, he's like actually gets again all into urgency mode, mixes all up together. So basically, I want to see if this new resource, if I can break it in the session so that it doesn't break down in the real life.
No, but I need to be. I mean, like, I just, uh, if I had my way, I would just be like, I don't know, chilling, selling coconut hats on the beach or meditating or something. It's too much responsibility. No, I'm just saying. It's it, it there's a lot of pressure, you know, paying taxes, having all these different responsibilities, and like learning to manage everything. And I like simple. I really like simple. I don't like having so much stuff. Um, I can deal with it, but it just complicates life. And I think that kind of, I guess what I'm saying is I don't like feeling urgent, like a sense of urgency. But I do think that where I'm at in life right now, I can't be somewhere else. I mean, I could be, but I mean, like, I can't like think and then I'm not here anymore. And what I suppose I'm trying to say is like this is what I have to manage. Where I'm at right now, I'm in my relationship. I'm married. I'm in Mongolia. I'm with my certain set of challenges and issues. These are my responsibilities. I can't, if I shirk my responsibilities, it's just going to make things a lot worse. And the sense of urgency that's required at this moment in my life is necessary to handle the problems that I'm facing. And I guess even though it's uncomfortable, it's kind of like it's just part of the game. You know, it's like lifting weights. It doesn't feel comfortable, but I guess when you do it enough, like you almost learn to kind of enjoy it because the the outcome is so worth it. Like it just feels good transforming yourself.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Feels good to transform yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's definitely a testimony if I can transform myself, then it certainly says something about my ability to help transform others, you know?
Hmm.
And this is his belief, like, and for example, I don't believe that I need to be transformed to help transform others. I think I need to be good at my therapy and I need to be good at my skill. But his belief is that if I can transform myself, I can transform others. And this is one of the points as well that I want to say to you all is that it does not matter what you believe as a therapist. What matters is what your clients believe. And just, I know that there's a lot of almost temptation to kind of suggest our beliefs to people, but you never should do that, because this is not what they need. What they believe is what they believe, and you know, that is one of his resources. If I can transform others, I can transform, oh sorry, if I can transform myself, I can transform others. I don't believe that, but if that's good enough for him and he's got this resource, that's amazing.
So where is your problem now?
Checking on the problem again after the testing.
It's doesn't doesn't feel like it's there. It's like it's just like it went on one of those UFOs that everybody's talking about and disappeared. Just a mess. But yeah, no, I don't really feel anything. Um, yeah, it does. I feel like I just haven't had the chance to really process all this stuff together, and I'm just thinking like, what if I really just act as if the things that I want actually want me? It just relax me a bit. I can still have that sense of urgency where I'm like putting in the action. I'm definitely pushing myself hard right now in my life, and I know it's not sustainable in the long run, but it's not gonna be. Like I'm figuring things out on how to change that because I don't, I like chilling. I don't want to work 20 hours a day. I want to work like 4 hours a day doing stuff that I love, and I'll pay other people to do stuff. I don't have a problem with that. Somebody's like, oh, you should be able to change your oil. You're a man. I'm like, no, I'm smart enough to make the money to pay someone else to change my oil. How about that? That's the
Delegation, isn't it?
Yeah, delegate, delegate, delegate. Um, but that's what I'd say. That's where I'm at.
Huh, that's good. So if someone goes to you after you send them the link and an invoice, do you feel like you'd still feel as calm and patient as you feel?
So now we've had the breakthrough. He said the problem has disappeared, and I'm starting. I've done a little bit of testing before, as you can see from my questions. Are you okay with that? And then just a couple of questions. But now we've untied. Seems like we've untied all the knots and the knots from my previous testing. I'm now starting the testing again.
So now?
I don't need to make it a problem. Like, people are gonna do that. It's just that's how some people are, and the people that are ready are going to be the ones that communicate with me, and those are probably going to be the people that I want to work with the most, anyways. And all I have to do is just keep watch, rinse, repeat, and more people will come to me. I'll get more clients and everything, and it'll it'll get better. I think maybe I'm just taking it too personally, like letting it get to me. It has nothing to do with me, and who knows, maybe they're going through something and they'll come around, you know.
And what about them $5,000 in your bank account?
It'd be real nice. That would definitely. It's still, I kind of put that. It's still not where I'd like to be, honestly. Like I want it to be. I feel like I'd be in a solid place if I had like, um, probably about 4 times that much, and just like I was able to like, oh, I can pay this credit card off. I have money to spend here for marketing. I can run these ads. I can do this thing where I can kind of like put in the stuff, and now it's like making more and more and more. Um, but if I can make the money, like if I can make money now, I can learn how to make more. I can figure out how to make more, which I think I already know what to do. It's just, it's being patient. Like it's really just being patient. I got to put the stuff together. I got to send it to my person and, you know, like run my subscription thing. Um, just all of that stuff. And as I make more money, it's going to free up time for me to focus on things, to improve the quality of my content, to improve the quality of other stuff. And then I can, you know, do more fun things with my wife and like have more freedom. Like it'll give me more power to do more things. And I won't get hung up on then that maybe that sense of urgency will go away because then I can delegate it, let someone else feel urgent, not me. I'll pay someone.
I'll pay someone to feel urgent for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna delegate my urgency. I'm gonna pay somebody. I was like, I need you to feel urgent. This is what I'm paying you for. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
I was kidding. I was like, yeah.
So when before that happens, you said
Yeah,
okay, feeling some urgency right now.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just telling me what's important. You know, if I don't do anything, if there's no urgency, if there's no stress, I just sit around, then it's probably not going to be good for my relationship. Then all the bad things will happen, you know, but that's not in me. That's not who I am. Like I am the source of my stability and security. So it's like even if all this stuff fades away, like I'm just gonna reconstruct. You know, it's like I care and love my wife. I care about the future of our family and everything. So of course I'm gonna do the things needed to build us up and to have a solid future and everything, because that's coming from me. It's not the stuff outside of me that's saying, oh, you have security and stability because you got X amount of money in the bank or because of you have this house or something. It's like, no, I'm the one that made that happen. Like I did the thing to create that.
Yeah, how cool is that?
It's pretty cool.
Mhm.
It's pretty cool.
Amazing. So what is your one small thing that you can do tomorrow, I guess now, to make the session the big success?
Conscious tasking. So I've done a little bit of testing. I could have done a bit more, but I was just cautious about the time and basically just want to show you the whole demo and the whole process. But he seems to be quite good, and he did say that things in his mind keep shifting. So I'm kind of expecting a bit of more processing time after the session as well.
I just need to take action on these things that I know I need to take action on. Like there's a hypnosis recording that I need to do for my course, and I need to send some stuff off to my guy for my website, my web designer. I just need to get that going because then it's like it's another product or service I can offer to the people that follow me that's going to help them. It'll create a stable income because there's going to be people paying consistently month to month. And as I get more money from that, I can back off of other things. I can delegate. It just gives me more freedom. So I just need to do that, and it's going to make things easier. Because I want things to be easier, and when I put in the effort, the ease and the stuff comes to me. You know. See what I did there?
Yeah, effort, all stuff is all coming.
Yeah, exactly. The money's gonna come, the stuff's gonna come. I'm not a, I'm not a, I'm resourceful. I know how to fix this. I'm not a stupid guy. Like I can make this work, and um, it'll be it's gonna be good. Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be good.
Amazing. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, yeah. It's
What's the
yeah, I
timing
think I
then?
need.
Oh,
What's the time? It's 9:45 p.m.
oh, sorry. Yeah, I was a bit late. Yeah.
No, no, no. You're good. You're good. You're good. I usually stay up kind of late. Although for me, I probably have to.
Okay, so that's it. Demarcation done. So the question, what's the time there, is the demarcating question to separate the session, the unconscious from conscious world. And also, so after that, what I would also do, I would give them the sleep tasking. So obviously it's 9 p.m. in there. So he'll go straight to bed after that, or he went straight to bed after that. So that's great. And then the processing chat as well, that the emotions can be up and down, like the sleep inconsistencies can happen, and all of the other processing chat. So I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope you learned something from it, and I will see you in the next training.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris, and I recently had the opportunity to work with Dinara, and it was with regards to the fact that I was struggling when it came to my business. For some reason, I just wasn't putting in the work and the effort in order to make things happen. And after working with her, I just started to experience an immediate shift. Like I was starting to bring in consistent income. My income went up drastically. And on top of all of that, now I'm at a point where my business is actually just growing and growing and growing. And before I just hit like this spot where I felt like things were hopeless. I was really struggling to figure out like what to do and what moves I needed to make in order to put myself in a good place. And she was just able to use her advanced conversational hypnosis to get me to a place where I had those insights, those realizations of precisely what was causing the problem. And the interesting thing is, it's not always easily articulated, but there's definitely an internal shift and a perceptual shift that just leads to lasting change. And for myself, there were some things that really stuck out to me. For one, I always had this sort of this negative connotation of power, perhaps because people in my life exercise power in an unpleasant and negative way. But I was able to get a shift to where I realized for myself, the association that I had with money when it came to power and the ability to express my love more fully to those that I'm serving with my business, the people in my life, my loved ones, my family, was really important. And so I recognized the connection, and it just helped me to start taking consistent action and to get the momentum I needed to move forward. So I just can't thank her enough for what she's done for me. It's been really amazing. She helped me to shift my mindset from growing up in a place where I dealt with a lot of, I guess, scarcity, if you could put it that way. I was in foster care at one point. I didn't grow up in a very wealthy family. We lived on welfare and Social Security. And I just adopted a mindset that led me towards catastrophizing, always assuming that I'm on the edge. And it made it difficult to do what I needed to do. And she also assisted me with that. And I don't see the limits now. Like, I really just don't see how, like, I can just keep going. And I can see that based on the actions that I'm taking. I can see that in my change in attitude and my disposition. So once again, Dinara, thank you so much. You're amazing at what you do, and I can't thank you enough.